Nobody cares what your 5 rep max is. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about something that comes up with some of my clients. And it's a lot of them who have followed linear novice programs, because a lot of linear novice programs are based upon doing heavy fives, right? As Mark Ripito says, do your fives. They're based on heavy 5 rep sets. And that is the most popular way for novice lifters to train on structured programs because they become very popular. I've produced more than one very, very popular 5 rep set novice program. You have starting strength, you have strong lifts, you have all of these different programs. And the problem with that is that you get people who have been training longer than a year, right? Who've been training longer than a year, who still think in terms of, oh, I need to get my 5 rep max up. Well, here's the point. Nobody cares. That's purely a novice standard. When you look at any strength standards chart, and it's always funny because I'll link these, right? I'll link them all the time. And you'll have strength standards charts. You'll look at it and say, aha, it says that if you're this body weight to be an advanced lifter, your bench should be this, your squat should be this, so on and so forth. Right? They're just charts. They're just strength standard charts. People will look at that and say, for how many reps? I want you to stop and think about that for a moment. The chart says that you should be able to lift 300 pounds. Again, the chart says the strength standard is that X person on Y exercise to be at Z classification is 300 pounds, is what you should lift. The answer is already there. Like, why would you ask how many reps? Okay, can you lift 300 pounds? Can you lift 400 pounds? Okay, it means for 1 rep. And it's implicit already. Everyone with common sense looks at that and knows, can you lift 300 pounds or not? Can you lift 500 pounds or not? You don't get bonus points for doing extra reps. In fact, you'll get disqualified in most strength sports. Okay? We've seen jackasses do this trying to show off. It happens on rare occasions. Some guy will pull a heavy deadlift and then go and try to do a double with it or a triple. And he's disqualified. Right? His lift doesn't count. They disqualify his lift because he bounced it off the ground. He didn't lower it under control so that he could do a second and third rep. Therefore, the first rep gets disqualified. Okay? No one cares what your 3 rep max is. No one cares what your 5 rep max is. That is novice thinking based upon novice programming. And I would ask people out there, if you're not a novice anymore, why do you care what your 5 rep max is? Because I can tell you right now, if you're really strong, hitting a 5 rep max is a much higher chance of getting you hurt than a 1 rep max. Right? Hitting a 5 rep max has a higher risk of injury than a 1 rep max. It's very fatiguing, and you tend to get loose and sloppy and have fatigue and get bad form as you go. Novices are weak, and because we're using it as programming, like we're doing multiple sets of 5, and some late novice programs that are out there will have you ramp up to a heavy 5 rep set and you try to hit a max or a PR, right? If they have you ramp up, it might be several ramp up 5s and then you go for the all out peak set. Advanced lifters don't usually train that way for good reason. You just get hurt. Okay, but in every strength sport, how do we judge strength? Go to a powerlifting meet. How many reps do they count? 1. It's your 1 rep max. Go to a weightlifting meet. Even at the Olympics, how many reps do they do? 1. You guys see a pattern here? When your bros at the gym ask you how much you bench, when they ask you how much you bench, do they mean for how many reps? No, they just mean how much can you bench press. Right? And People love to do their 5 rep max who don't max out, and they try to extrapolate. It's like they see you lift 400 pounds and then they go, but I can do 365 for 5 reps. I'm stronger than you. And it's like, well, put 400 pounds on the bar and do it. And I think that's the thing that people who train purely with 5s, and particularly novices, are in for a rude awakening the first time they try to go for a heavy single, who've never done them and they don't practice maxes. Okay? Your 5 reps don't really mean shit. They really don't. Okay? They don't mean shit. You might only get 10 more pounds for a single. And I think that comes as a big shock to a lot of guys who've been training all these 5s base building, and there's nothing wrong with building a base that way early on. But when you extrapolate over and think that you're going to hit some big heavy weight because you were able to do whatever for 5, and it turns out to be only 5% difference or 7% more weight on the bar, I think they get a little bit shocked sometimes, like, wow, I thought it'd be more. Well, no, because you don't practice maxing. You have never developed your maximum strength. Okay? It's a different beast. You've never developed it. The person who does maxes usually has a pretty dang good 5 rep max, because it carries over better the other way. And he's done a ton of rep work also for hypertrophy. Well, here's the thing. People have to get out of this novice mindset. All right? The thing is, as a novice, you can use 5s for everything. 5 rep sets make you stronger. Yes. They make you bigger. Yes. The more advanced you get, the more we diversify, the more we use higher volumes of training and supplemental work for all of our additional hypertrophy, and the more we use really heavy weights for maximizing force production, maximizing strength development. Okay? But we build the base off of the rep work. And the thing is, with your 5s, you're just base building. Well, that base building, as you get more advanced, all that 5 rep work you're doing on those basic lifts, or a lot more advanced lifts, starts turning into 10 rep work on supplemental lifts. Whereas in your main lifts may go to lower and lower reps. Even guys who don't do the max effort like I do, you'll see a lot of power lifters who choose to do a more classic version where they do 2s, 3s, 4s. They might do a lot of 3x3. Okay, they might do stuff like that for their big lifts, and then they do supplemental work for hypertrophy, a bunch of extra volume. But the thing is that this is a novice mindset. It's a novice mentality. And if you want to know how strong you are, you need to hit a heavy weight. You need to hit a heavy weight. And if you want to develop maximum strength, because we can talk about the benefits of maximum strength, and we often do here, then you need to lift maximally. The reason we don't have novices do that is because it's hard to get a training effect out of a 1 rep max lift. Number 2, novices don't usually have the experience and technique yet to really max out. They don't have the body awareness and the intermuscular coordination to max out at first for at least several months of good training. So therefore, it would be haphazard to prescribe that to them. Number 2, you get a very low training response, whereas in the heavy 5s, we can get close to maximum hypertrophy out of that for a novice lifter. Right? We can put a lot of size on them that way, while still lifting a moderately heavy weight that they can have strength standards geared towards, because progressive overload is present. It's a good way for them to judge progress and to feel strong because they're moving a heavier and heavier weight while still inducing maximum hypertrophy. Okay? But that's for the more novice lifter. The more advanced you get, the less we care about these things, and the less we should care about these things. All right, the less we should care. But I have to remind novices of that. I have some of my novice lifters who are not true novices anymore, who are now intermediates, and they come back and give me a goal of, oh, this is my goal, is to hit a 5 rep squat with this weight. And I'm like, why? 5 rep bench, like, why? Why don't we work on your maxes? If you want to have a strength standard, let's get to a heavy single. We're not going to do an all-out 5 rep max. We might do multiple sets of 5 for some of your box squats or benching or whatever at certain points. Right? But we're not going to even take those to a 5 rep max. There's just no point. No benefit to it. We could do other work if we just need to get training volume and hypertrophy. If you want to get maximally strong or you want to test your strength, you need to look at heavy singles. That is how strength is measured. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.